Hofstra fans, welcome to the WB Mason Coaches Report. Carrie Schreiber joined as always by the head coach of the Hofstra women's basketball team, Coach Krista Kilburn-Savesky. And how are you doing today?
A little cold.
Yeah, it's definitely very cold today.
Cold.
But it's the start of the new year, and that also means the start of conference play. So you guys get to start that out this week. What was your mindset really just going into the conference?
It was nice. We had a quick meeting with, I did personally, with every player, because we break the season up in parts. Obviously you have your preseason, your non-conference. Now we start the conference season. So it was nice to evaluate where we were after those first 11 games, and so it was good. It was refreshing to kind of quickly kind of recap where the players felt where they were, what our goals were heading into conference season, and I think we're heading in the right direction, and everyone is on point, and we're seeing the value of every person on this team, and especially on any given night. So it's good. It's just a refocus now again, and not one game is any bigger than the next game. It's just trying to take care and win each game as you go along. So we've got a huge challenge, obviously, this weekend.
So let's just recap what happened this week, and starting with College of Charleston, you guys had a 78-53 victory over them, and then on Tuesday, you faced Northeastern and a nice big overtime, exciting win, 85-83. So what were your thoughts on those games?
Well, I mean, reality, I don't want to have every conference game in overtime, but conference is really conference. I mean, Charleston, we fought them and lost last year to them twice. They had graduated a lot of their players, so they were new coming back, a new coach, but they have a lot of fight. So that is a little bit uncharacteristic of conference night, but we'll take whatever we can get whenever we can get it. So, well coached, and have a huge fight because they turned around and beat Delaware. So that's, you can't even look at from one game to the next. People match up against people. You just got to be ready to play every night, because if you start playing that, it's like kind of a silly game, and I kind of remind that to the players all the time. Just the game has no memory, and you just got to be ready to go out there and play each time. So, but we'll take that win. We'll take that win against Charleston. We'll take a nice, huge conference win to start off, and to have 2 games at home. I've talked pretty much in depth about that. We haven't had that history of my time and my tenure, probably here and even at JMU. Just don't recall that. So we'll certainly take that one. And now, obviously, then we get ready, to head this weekend. But very happy about, our win. Very happy about how everybody played, and we had several people in double figures. And Jaquel had a phenomenal night for us with 19 points. Angie White, did her thing and had a double-double. And then I think Crystal and Darius both had, just a large amount of assists, respectively, like 7 and 5 or 9 and 7 off the top of my head. I can't remember exactly their amount of assists. So it was just a great team win with 23 team assists.
Well, Jaquel King-Gilchrist and also Angie White, in that win against Charleston, they accumulated 30 points that were off the bench, and you guys held a 44-0 lead over their bench points. So what does that extra pad really mean for you guys moving forward? Yeah,
I mean, I think that's what makes it special for me as a coach, being here for 9 seasons, to have depth, have any player that can step up and really do what they need to do on any given night. From my freshmen all the way up to my juniors, and having no seniors, it's a different luxury, but I'm getting comfortable with it, and it's nice. It's nice that kids are embracing their roles too, and just really bringing it, so it helps a lot.
And also Angie White and Ayla Adeforoka. A lot of times we see them sometimes on the court together, but they seem to maybe be substituting with each other. I don't know if maybe when Ayla gets into foul trouble, do you look for Angie to come in and switch with her, or what would you rather see them both?
I like them both together, and I think as Angie gets more comfortable playing the 4, it's a nice combo right there. So obviously Ashanae's just doing a great job. She can play the 3 too, which is exciting. So it gives us so much luxury to have stronger lineups, bigger lineups, rebounding lineups, and things like that. So, but just got to get them both on the floor and get them both producing, and I think it'll take a lot of pressure off E when Angie's stepping up like this and doing what she can do.
So then, of course, tomorrow you guys face Drexel, and it's a little bit of a rematch from last year after falling to them in the quarterfinals of the CAA tournament. So is there a little bit of a chip on your shoulder going into that?
No, I wanted to go back about Northeastern though, because Crystal Lashana had 14 team assists, and she tied the record with Candace Balakia, who actually was at the game.
Yes, I saw her there.
So that was kind of awesome, and it was. And I said, Candace, you tied your record. We're at St. Francis, New York, when you had those 14. She's like, you remember? I was like, yeah, I remember.
Did she talk to her at all?
She did. She actually talked to the team. She came flying in the locker room and talked to the team before the game, and then she talked to Crystal. We got some pictures taken with her and Crystal. So it was great. So we had 5 people in double figures. She had 14 assists, and just had a great game you know, a tough one that we had to fight mentally, you know, as well as physically, and we had to fight through a lot of adversity. So I was proud of them for that. So just wanted to make sure we talk about that because that was huge. That was huge, and I was proud of them because we have control what we can control, and there was some things out of our hands that we could not control, and we could have gone, you know, north or south, and you know, it went north, and we got the win. So we'll take it. But now get back to Drexel.
Yeah, well, even before we get to just Drexel in general, also, I mean, Drexel played Northeastern as well, and they only held them to 35 points. So knowing that you allowed Northeastern to score 83, does that close any type of red flag for you?
No, that kind of goes back to my first statement that I said to you, that obviously the game has no memory, and different teams match up differently, and, you know, different nights have different things, and you know, Northeastern was playing for their first time without Tiffany Montiage, I don't know if I pronounced her name right. She had torn her ACL in the BC game, so that was their first game without one of their starters, and, you know, so many different pieces. You know, now they're kind of restructuring the type of team they are, you know, without her. So we were the second game, and then, you know, so a new coach for them too, who does a great job. So you just can't, if you do that kind of game. I mean, that's why we play the game. It doesn't, you know, it doesn't matter. JMU only beat Towson by 1. You know, you can't measure this way. You just have to have your kids prepared and be ready to roll. And, you know, Drexel does what Drexel does at home, and, you know, it's our job to go there and try to stop that.
So then how are you going to try to stop that? Now we go back to the other question about it being a rematch from last year.
I mean, there's no chips. I mean, going against Drexel is always fun. It's always a great challenge. You know, Denise, I have a lot of respect for her. I thought she just always puts a great product out on the floor, and their kids get better and better as the season goes along. And, you know, they do a good job running their system. I've been saying this for history of being in the CAA. You know, she controls tempo with what they do, and, you know, so it's just going to be a battle, and they shoot very well, and they're very skilled. So, you know, it's going to be a defensive battle on our part, defending them, and then they're going to, you know, throw everything in the kitchen sink like everybody else is doing against us, and, you know, we got to make some shots. You know, so it's really key that we got to make some shots. You know, there's a lot of areas we can get shots off there. We just got to make those shots. So, you know, that'll be the fun quest at the DAC. So head down there today and then get ready to go. Big sweep this weekend.
And they do have one of the top scoring defenses in the conference. So how do you really just try and get your offense through that?
Yeah, I mean, you know, always that big quest, like you said, you want to try to control the tempo with Drexel, and, you know, sometimes that works, and we've won games where we didn't control the tempo, and we've won games where we have controlled the tempo. So, you know, you go in there with that mindset that you want your kids to attack and do the things that we do, and, you know, then you just got to play the game how to play games playing out. If it's a grind, it's a grind, and, you know, so that's what makes conference fun. As I said, I get geared up this time of year because we have so many great coaches, and you know, so much strategy down the stretch here, and you know, it's just a fun challenge.
So we won't look too far in advance, but obviously you take on Towson on Sunday as well. So regardless of what happens Friday, how do you make sure that you think conference, like you were saying, clean slate, it's a different game, and go forward?
Well, I mean, you know, Towson plays a similar, you know, they play a matchup type zone as well too, so we're going to see some of the same. You know, you know, again, you try to keep saying no game is bigger. We have 2 important games this weekend because there are 2 next games. But, you know, I think we need to obviously play well on Friday and then, you know, transition that back into Sunday. And at least everybody's on the same playing field this week, so it's not like somebody played on Thursday and then they get the extra rest for Sunday. So we're all on the same playing field in the league this week. And so it's just going to be a battle with a short turnaround. Both squads have a short turnaround, so we don't have, you know, that much game, you know, preparation that you change too many things, and, you know, they'll do what they do and we'll do what we do, and hopefully we win that battle. So our players are definitely ready for this weekend. We just got to, you know, one game at a time. So.
All right, so then what's going to be the key to getting those victories?
You know, simple things, as we keep saying. I mean, you know, we've got to obviously play better defense. We've had a very good start against really good teams on our defensive end of the floor. It's been challenged a little bit lately with things that were in our control and things that were out of our control. So we got to kind of get back to the basics in that respect and communicate with each other on the floor, trust each other on the floor. You know, limit these people to second chance opportunities on the offensive boards, scrappy fighting teams that are just going to be gritting it out. So we've got to be much more of an awareness of that type of stuff. So, you know, some of the same old, but defending and rebound is just really important. And the things that, you know, we can't control is, you know, knocking those shots down, having who's going to have their best night, and you know, hopefully it's everybody. You know, that's when, if that comes, that keeps coming. You know, when we get everybody on all cylinders, we're going to continue to be a very dangerous team. When everybody's on all cylinders, it could be a lot of trouble. So, you know, we just keep working for that day, and you know, get a lot of people in double figures and helping us out when we need it. So.
All right. Well, Coach Krista Kilburn-Savetsky, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And the Pride will take on Drexel tomorrow night and Towson on Sunday before returning home and then going to Delaware. I think that one's next.
I gotta get past Friday.
Yeah, we'll get past Friday. And you can follow along on GoHofstra.com.